All right, hello. So my name is Megan. I'm here today to interview with the district conservationist from the Natural Resource Conservation Service as part of the Cultivating Conservation for Maryland and Delaware's Small and Historically Underserved Farmers program. So we know federal programs can be quite complex to navigate, especially for beginning farmers or individuals who have not established a relationship with a sponsoring agency. So this program is developed for those historically underserved groups to increase their knowledge of NRCS programs, increase their understanding of the application processes, and how conservation projects can fit into an overall farm plan. So thank you, Bianca, for participating in this program with us. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your role at the NRCS.
Yes, hi, Megan. My name is Bianca Soto. I'm the district conservationist in Delaware, NRCS. I work in the, oh my God, I'm blank, sorry. Yeah, I work with the Delaware, NRCS. I cover the Kane County and also Newcastle field office. And right now I also working with the, as a supervisor soil conservationist.
Awesome. Okay, so can you tell us about the difference between NRCS and the soil conservation districts?
Yes, NRCS is a federal agency that helps participants identify, improve, and maintain research concerns related to their operation. The soil conservation district are subdivision of the state government. The conservation district mission is to promote responsible management and conservation of the natural resource on all lands by representing locally led conservation through grassroots, advocacy, education, and partnership. Both NRCS and Soil Conservation District work together to deliver assistance, programs, and funding to participants.
Awesome, great. So we know that for a lot of these programs, farmers or landowners must be eligible to participate first. Can you give us some of the reasons that a farmer or a landowner may not be eligible to participate in a federal conservation program?
Okay. Yes, our federal conservation program are volunteer program in which landowners can request technical assistance or financial assistance to help them improve research concerns. For financial assistance, participants must meet financial and land eligibility established for our programs. Some of the reasons for ineligibility for our program are lack of control of the land for the years of the contract, the individual or entity doesn't meet the adjusted gross income, we call AGI, of $900,000 average over the past 3 tax years, a violation of the wetland or highlight arable lands, and also in the case of the CSP, if the previous contractor holder failed to renew a CSP contract or meet the stewardship threshold eligibility, they are subject to a 2-year CSP ineligibility period, just to give you an idea.
Awesome, okay. And are there payment limitations on the total amount that folks can receive from conservation program payments?
Yes. Each program has a payment limitation specific to individual or entities. For the 2018 Farm Bill, MAA, or Agriculture Management Program, is $50,000 payment per year or annually. In EQIP, a person or legal entity will be limited to $450,000 per contract. EQIP contract with joint operation, that means general partnership or joint venture, group projects or water management entity may have a control limited of up to $900,000 with an improvement contract limitation waiver. And the CSP is $200,000 for 5-year contract. Those are the limitations for each program for payment.
So it's very different for each program.
Yeah.
Okay, and so how soon after entering into a contract for any of those programs will an applicant need to actually implement the practices that they've agreed to implement?
So the applicant has 1 year to implement one practice from his or her contract to meet our policy.
1 year. And if an applicant needs an extension for any reason, is there a way that they can get one of those?
Of course, yes. If the applicant needs extension because of situation with their contract, we will work with them to modify of the contract and or request a waiver to the state conservationist if they have not completed a practice in the first 12 months of the contract.
Okay. And then what are some examples of maintenance actions that a program participant usually will agree to undertake as part of the program?
Yes, the operation and maintenance, or we call ORM action, depend specifically on the practice. For example, some of the OM action for the waste storage structure include keeping wet and dry manure separate to prevent fires, only stacking manure to the maximum height of 8 feet, repairing any damage immediately, and only storing manure in the shed. So all the practice have implementation requirements specific to the practice and the participant operation. So that means that each practice will require, yes, have the operation and maintenance. And we provide that information to the producer as well.
Right, it's in the terms of the contracts.
Yes.
Okay, and if there is who is liable for a contract violation if a landowner and a farmer are both on a conservation contract?
Well, if both the landowner and the farmer sign the contract and the appendix, which outlines the contract provision, they are both responsible for the contract violation.
Both of them are equally responsible. Okay.
Yes.
And so what are some examples of a contract non-compliance if a farmer or a landowner?
Yes, some of the samples of the contract non-compliance are lack of documentation to complete payment, not implementing a practice within 12 months of the start of the contract, or not installing practice in the timely manner. Those are some contract non-compliance examples.
Okay. Those are the most common.
Yes.
Okay. And then sometimes people hear about swamp buster and sod buster provisions. What are the swamp buster and sod buster provisions?
Okay, let me tell you more about that. The Wetland Conservation Permission, that is WC, commonly referred to as a swamp buster, is the prohibit USDA program participant from converting remaining wetlands under agriculture operation to cropland, pasture, or hairland. USDA program participants must certify annually that they are in compliance with the WC, that is wetland conservation. A USDA participant that produces a crop on a wetland after December 23rd, 1985, or converts a wetland making agriculture possible after November 28, 1990, is in non-compliance wetland conservation provision. So that means that NRCS work with the participant to regain eligibility by developing a wetland restoration plan or mitigation plan. Another thing that we need to also consider, when hiring a private consultant to complete a wetland determination for USDA National Food Security Act eligibility, ensure that consultant is following National Food Security Act policy, not the Army engineer policy. US Army Corp engineer policy. Unlike it, USDA, the Army Corps of Engineers, does not make determination on isolate wetlands. So the Army Corps of Engineers use Clean Water Act guidance for wetland determination. So in the case for the sub-buster provision, so The highly arable land conservation that we call HELC provision required USDA participant proposing to grow agricultural community on that land that did not have cropping history prior to December 3rd, 1985, notified to FSA. NRCS will determine if the field is high arable land, we call HEL, or not highly arable land, NHEL. So those are the acronym that we use. If the field is HEL, high arable land, the participant is required to implement a conservation plan or HEL plan that limited the erosion to the tolerable soils loss, the T, for the predominant HEL soil on the fields. So a participant that doesn't receive a HEL determination prior to the growing a crop on the land without a cropping history before December 23rd, 1985, or is not following the approved conservation or HEL plan is in non-compliance, and that you call referred to as sod busting. So we have to term that is very carefully to be aware of those terms.
Right, so those are very specific and are they part of all of the program contracts?
Yes.
Okay.
They need to, in all the programs that we participate, all the USDA program.
That's good to know. And so we've talked a little bit about, instances if there's non-compliance or if there's a violation, who's liable for a violation of a contract term. In that case, what types of damages will NRCS seek if there is a contract violation?
So Megan, we are a federal agency, but not a regulatory agency. We will always work with the farmers to reduce contract violation. Depending on the situation, one of the damage is monetary, which means the participant must return part of or all financial assistance due to the violation of the contract. In other case, the participants' ranking priority on the future program funding may be reduced due not to following current contract provision or having a contract terminated. So those are some of the things that can happen. Can be damaging monetary, also reduce maybe in the ranking for the next year, or we can have a contract terminated.
Okay, and that's potentially a lot of money if it's one of those programs where they had, $200,000 as part of the payment program, right?
Yes, it's going to depend. The monetary that they need to return is based in his contract that he's in right now under the contract.
Okay, and I'm just going to ask one follow-up question about that, the monetary damages that are sought. So a lot of these contracts are typically over a number of years. So even if there's a violation in the last year of the contract and NRCS isn't able to work with the farmer or landowner, will they still seek a full repayment of all the NRCS funds that were paid out over those years?
Yes, if it's the final year of the contract, that's correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much for explaining a little bit about NRCS and what you do there, and more details about some of the contract terms and what they mean for program participants. Did you have any other parting words of wisdom for the farmers and landowners who are listening to this interview?
No, just only farmers or producers that you listen this video, feel free to go to any NRCS field office, and they were working to help you in this process. So we are here to help you and try to do your land and improve all the resources that you have in your land. So that is our job. So hopefully we can see you, and don't be afraid. I know that those questions is very hard, but we work with the producer to avoid any type of problem or situation.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are wonderful and nice. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
Let me figure out how to stop recording.